Hello and welcome back to our PTZOptics computer programming for robotic cameras course. In this video, we're going to do a brief overview of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Let's get started. HTML is really the building blocks of all web pages, and we're going to use it to create our framework for our interface for our computer programs to control these robotic cameras. So it's a building block of all websites. Now, we're going to be talking about networking. So in this course, if you haven't seen our network setup video, I highly suggest looking at it. I think it's only about 3 minutes, shows you how to very affordably set up a router and a PoE network switch for like less than $200. So take a look at that if you're concerned about how IP networking works. And then just some tips to stay organized with your IP. You can go to ptzoptics.com/IP and look at all of these videos, but I'm also going to include, it's about a 7 to 8 minute video, tips on staying organized and keeping everything labeled. As you can see, we have in our studio here, we label all of our cameras with the correct IP addresses, which makes management, whether you're in a club, maybe a robotics club or a computer programming club or a group or a studio, everyone knows the camera you're talking about because you give it a friendly name and an IP address. So don't forget that video as well. Now, let's talk about an overview of HTML. So in this video, we're going to do an overview of the language itself, the features of HTML, the uses and benefits, and then we're going to do a basic hello world HTML file to show you how it all works. And through that process, we'll do some coding and we'll do some whiteboarding. By the way, HTML is also supported by CSS and JavaScript. They all kind of work together in modern interactive websites. So we'll go over a little bit of how they all connect, but I won't spoil the JavaScript video coming up next. Now, let's talk about how it's all set up. So HTML is formed with these brackets. So there's an opening and a closing tag that is used to create these building blocks of HTML. And as you can see here, there's opening and closing tags. So the HTML at the top and the HTML at the bottom. The difference is that closing slash there. And I'm going to go to the whiteboard and kind of talk through this. But this is a basic HTML code right there. Next, I wanted to talk about using CSS. So by using, you can do inline CSS and then you can do external CSS files as well. And you can link to CSS files. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. And in this example here, we're turning the entire body tag blue by inserting the style tag there, color blue with a semicolon behind it. So talk a little bit about using CSS. And we're just about ready for our Hello World tutorial. So let me head over to my whiteboard. I'm going to draw it out for you first. Then we'll do it on the computer as well and show it in a web browser. Let's do it. So we're going to go over here and I'm going to draw a very simple HTML document. If you've never done this before, it's very simple. It is included in our documentation here as well. So very simple, very laid back HTML document here. This is our HTML. Now, these little brackets here, they open and close everything, right? So we've got HTML. That's an open bracket. We always have to close the bracket when we're using HTML. And then there's a whole bunch of different tags. We could have a header tag. We could have a title tag. The title tag actually shows up at the top of a web browser. I'm going to draw a web browser over here because it really does connect to the web browser. If we use the title tag, which I'm just going to do since we're talking about it, title, we'll call it robotics, and we'll close that title tag. And now it would actually show up right here in the title of the tab. You've seen this before, right? This is a web browser, little X arrow there. There's the little bottom, and there's the little shoop. But the stuff's in here. There's nothing in there because we haven't written anything yet, right? All right, so now let's look at the body. Now, you could use a header tag as well. There's a lot of tags. We're going to do very basic HTML because in this course, we're using HTML just to build out the buttons and the layout. We're not actually doing any much real like in-depth computer programming. So in the body, we're going to choose a header tag. And header tags are used as H1. So H1 is the biggest header. H2, H3, H4. Those are dictated by CSS generally. And we'll show how to use that. But in H1, we're just going to write hello world. And then I'm going to close that H1 tag with the slash H1. Boom. Now, well, it's not, we can't finish it yet because we have to close our body tag. and we got to close our HTML tag. But that's it. We can now on this document right here, it will say at the very top, hello world, when we open up this file in a web browser. So this file right here, it was written in a text editor. So you are going to need a text editor. I highly suggest Sublime Text Editor. That's what you'll see me using here. It's free. And this text editor, we would save this file. So we'd go up to File, Save, right? And we'd save this file as, let's say, hello world dot HTML, because it's an HTML file. Then this file can be opened up in two ways. It can be opened up with a text editor to edit the text, or it can be opened up in a web browser. Let's just use Google Chrome for this. Open it up in Google Chrome. So I'm going to stop there, transfer over to the computer, and we're going to do a coding session where we're going to code this so you can see exactly how it works, so you understand the framework before we get into the more complicated computer programming languages where we'll be issuing robotic commands to our cameras. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, welcome to the Coding Dojo. We're going to do some very basic HTML and CSS just to get you up to speed if you're taking this course and getting familiar with computer programming languages. So this is an easy one. It's a piece of cake. We're going to do some HTML. Hello world, have to do it. Here we go. Let's get into it. So first of all, at the top of our document, we're going to do doc type HTML. Always best practice to do that. Why? Because we want to have, just to let the browser know this is an HTML document. Now we're going to do HTML. Look at that. Boom, that was fast, too fast. All right, we're going to do body. Look at that. I love Sublime Text Editor. It's making it too easy for us. So we got our opening and our closing body tags there. And inside the body, we're going to create an H tag that says hello world. Oh my gosh. We're going to save this. Make it a little fancier in a second, but for right now, hello world, and then important .html, because we want this to be opened as an HTML file. Save it. All right, let's open this baby. Hello world. Right click it and hit open with Google Chrome because we want to look at it in Google Chrome. We also want to look at it over here. Look at that. Got one extra little caret there. Let's get rid of that. So I save this, refresh. There we go. Now let's make this look a little fancier. I'm going to add some style here, and that's CSS. And I'm going to add some padding of 25 pixels. And then I'm going to align text to center. Boom. Look at that. Hello world. Now it's nice in the center. I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm going to change it to an H4, and I'm going to say hello world, robotic camera control. Here we come. So we are going to get to some robotic camera control in this course soon. How about that? Pretty cool, right? Basic HTML. Had to do it. Just wanted to show you guys. Let's get through this because I know you guys want to get on to more advanced coding. Just wanted to show you that. Basic HTML, basic CSS. We'll show you some basic JavaScript in our next video, but we're going to get into that advanced command prompt, node.js, and Python before you know it. All right, so that's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. We'll get on to our next video, which will be looking over JavaScript in our next video. So I'll see you there. Bye.